Ever heard that debts are best burned? Then stay tuned for this fiery case. In this sizzling episode, we're going to dive into a world of fire, mischief, and comic twists as we explore the exploits of two characters who combined arson with tax evasion and even a touch of fraud. From their zany wanderings in Philadelphia to the heroic efforts of special agents and defenders of justice, this story has it all. Drama, action, and guaranteed laughs. Get your water hoses ready and be prepared to attack the fire of legal fraud. With all of you, the fiery case of the Dawaras, the brothers who burned down their shisha bar to collect on insurance. Prepare to laugh and cry simultaneously as we travel to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where two brothers, Imad Dawara, the Master of Flames, and Baha Dawara, the Man of Fire, left their mark and a trail of smoke in the city of brotherly love. Imagine this scene. Imad, 40, and Baha, 32, two intrepid brothers with a vision, turning their shisha bar into the hottest place in Philadelphia in every way. However, it seems their plans weren't smoking as well as their hookahs. The solution? Of course, the infallible and timeless trick of setting the place on fire. But wait a minute, it's not enough to set your hookah lounge on fire. No. These brothers were determined to take things to the next level. So what do you think they did? Well, they decide to transform an entire block of Old Town into their own flaming stage. Think about it. Why limit yourself to one building when you can expand your empire of ashes? After years of disagreements with the owner of their establishment, these two geniuses finally receive word that they must vacate before the fateful February 2nd. How do they react? Do you think they leave with grace and dignity? Of course not. They decide to stay and prove their point in a, shall we say, flamboyant way. Of course, as if this were part of a comedic masterpiece, the story takes an unexpected turn because here comes the crown jewel. Not only did these two masterminds decide to leave a trail of destruction in their wake, they also became financial visionaries by taking out a $750,000 insurance policy to cover accidental fires. What a hot investment opportunity. It all started back in the distant December 2012 when these two masters of misfortune, Imad and Baha, decided to try their luck in the world of hospitality. What a brilliant idea, right? They operated restaurants and entertainment venues, including this shisha bar in the 239 block of Chestnut Street. But as in all good comedies, things turned a little, let's call it heated. Turns out the Dawara brothers were having more fights than a wrestling movie with their landlord. They were fuming. Later, in October 2017, these master planning geniuses decided to cease operations on Chestnut Street and sell their business. The only little thing they forgot was to renew the lease or pay the rent. Who needs those little details anyway? But friends, the harebrained scheme does not end there. Next, in comes the landlord, ordering these two eviction wizards to leave by February 2nd. The Dawara's response? A resounding no. But guess what? Surprise. That same day, as if they had had a divine, or rather demonic, revelation, they decide to purchase a $750,000 accidental fire insurance policy. Coincidence? I think not. The icing on the comic cake comes on February 18th. Hold on to your seat for this one. The Dawaras decide to light an accidental fire in the basement of 239 Chestnut Street, using gasoline as their lighting tool. The result? A fire that makes Hollywood action movies look like mere fireworks. 200 people displaced, businesses closed, and an entire block of Chestnut Street transformed into an ember zone. Oh, but the fun doesn't stop there. Imad Dawara, the king of incendiary threats, apparently warned the landlord that he would destroy the building if the brothers were evicted. And just to make sure the joke worked, he asked the insurance broker how he would be paid if the building spontaneously decided to become a blazing inferno. At this point, let me introduce Jessica Morris, the general manager of the Best Western Plus Independence Park at the time. Imagine the drama when this hospitality heroine springs into action. Curtains up for the most shocking scene. Jessica, our fearless manager, not only ran a hotel, but a rescue operation in a big way. With all the grace of a leader in action, she ensured that a large number of brave guests were evacuated in all their glory. Let's hear it for Jessica and her team for getting the audience out safely amidst the chaos of fire and smoke. Of course, after the fire show, comes the behind the scenes that Jessica shares with us. Imagine the challenges she faced in accommodating those 72 displaced guests in the days and months that followed. A true hotel juggling act. And not only that, as of mid-2021, 25 brave employees were still on standby awaiting their call to return to work. Let's hope they weren't practicing fire tricks at home in the meantime. Of course, we cannot forget Brother Baha, the gasoline magistrate, who set the fire that left firefighters busy for days. This incident summoned an estimated 400 firefighters to the old city area. It even killed the poor pets and summoned this army of firefighters, turning the area into what looked like an apocalyptic movie set. Now fasten your seatbelts because this incredible tale of misadventures comes to a thrilling climax. After all, who needs soap operas when you have the Dawara brothers setting the city of Philadelphia on fire? Mind you, before we get to our grand denouement, let me fill you in on the entire cast behind this extravagant production. Imagine the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, ATF, the Philadelphia Fire Marshal, the Philadelphia Police Department, and the Internal Revenue Service and Criminal Investigation, working together as a team of superheroes united in the cause of stopping the pyrotechnic mayhem. And what about the stellar participation of the Philadelphia Parking Authority's Taxi and Limousine Division? A real dream cast. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, on the red carpet, the stars of the night, the two leading actors who not only set a bong room on fire, but also the imagination of all of us. Imad Dawara and Baha Dawara, those two names we will never forget, were sentenced to 9 years in prison, plus a bill of over $22 million for their show of arson and tax cheats. Bravo, bravo, bravissimo. And all this under the concept of scamming the insurance company to get a little money. Hasn't the same thing happened to you? Sometimes things do not go as planned. This was a massive fire with devastating losses, Assistant U.S. Attorney Jeanine Linehan exclaimed to applause and exclamations of astonishment. No doubt I'm still spinning for the incomparable Jessica Morris, General Manager of the Best Western Plus Independence Park, who became our real-life heroine in this incendiary tragic comedy. As we're counting, imagine the drama as this hospitality leader handled an evacuation of nearly 100 guests with the style and grace of a conductor at a fiery concert. But as with any good masterpiece, it's not all fun and games. U.S. District Court Chief Judge Juan R. Sanchez made it clear that this case was not exactly a fairy tale. I am not impressed with your assertion that this was a mistake, he stated firmly. Wham! He further stressed that the deliberate fire in the basement, while people were sleeping upstairs, was more than just a mistake. Later, Sanchez would state that this case made his blood boil. With a backdrop so full of twists and turns, the audience, that is us, was treated to a closing that can only be described as an epic finale. I hope these sentences provide a measure of closure for the victims, Acting U.S. Attorney Jennifer Williams said, bringing us to a final round of applause and the close of an unforgettable event. Williams also added, the Dawara brothers selfishly and criminally thought only of themselves and their finances that fateful night in February, but their horrible conduct left many victims in its wake, including individuals, businesses, and the city of Philadelphia as a whole. Arriving here, get ready to meet one of the stellar directors of this fireworks show, Matthew Varisco, the special agent who led the ATF's Arson and Explosives Task Force in Philadelphia. Yeah, friends, the same man who probably needed a heavy-duty fire cape and a t-shirt with the slogan, "Putting out fires and taking names." Seriously, I can't help but picture this super agent taking on wild flames while swinging a fire extinguisher and throwing wry comments at the panicked fires. Picture the scene, Matthew Varisco, with unstoppable determination, leading his troop of incendiary agents, all wearing Hollywood-style sunglasses to protect themselves from the dazzling spectacle of flames. "Friends, we're here to put an end to this incandescent farce," he might have exclaimed as the wind dramatically shook his hair. A true hero in the midst of the flaming chaos, the Dawara brothers will now serve 9 years in federal prison as a result of their actions, good old Matthew proclaimed with the tone of voice of someone who had just saved the world from malevolent fire. Oh, what an epic moment when justice and fire mingle in a duel of cosmic proportions. But of course, we cannot forget the important message from our tireless hero. Criminals who commit arson for any reason endanger the safety of the community and first responders, and will be held accountable. Advice we should treasure and share with those who think fire is just a tool for profit and a bit of fun. If that wasn't enough, the sweet irony of the Dawara brothers continued. Turns out their show of incendiary shenanigans was not their only feat of high comedy. Who needs to evade taxes when you can just make them disappear? The Dawara brothers know all about it, a comedic duo of fire and finance. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, these two geniuses also ventured into the exciting world of tax evasion from 2015 to 2017. The prosecutors exclaimed with a dramatic gesture while playing a comic tune in the background. Imad Dawara, the master of the double life, admitted with a wicked grin that he also dabbled in the shady business of collecting fraudulent healthcare and government benefits. Imad was also busy in the world of fraud and roguery. Why limit yourself to one crime when you can have a buffet of crimes? The Dawaras know how to keep busy. A Medicaid, SNAP, and TANF, here we come, could have been their rallying cry as they ventured into a world of fictitious government benefits. Who needs a real job when you can pretend to be on a government comedy show? In a twist that could only be the work of comic fate, these brothers gave us not only the entertainment of a full-scale firefight, but also the delight of their shameless escape from fiscal responsibilities. Undoubtedly, a performance worthy of applause. The intrigue of financial crimes and unbridled greed seems to be coming to its apotheosic end. But make no mistake, before we bring the curtain down, let's take a bow to another of our heroines in this plot of light and shadow. Jolene Simpson, the acting special agent in charge of IRS criminal investigation. The Dawara brothers had no regard for the welfare of others and were focused on their own greed. Jolene proclaimed with the earnestness of one who is on a mission to combat greed in disguise. How her words resonated in the theater of justice, making it clear that greed is not a game for innocent gamblers. And so we come to the final applause of our story, full of intrigue, challenging actions, and a touch of black comedy that only real life can offer. I hope you enjoyed this roller coaster of emotions as much as I did. Remember, fire can heat up, but it can also burn in the wrong parts. Tell us in the comments if you've ever had such crazy ideas for collecting insurance as the Dawara brothers. At this point, you still don't know this story of another insurance hunter? I wouldn't miss it.